where you lead me. Everything is ours in you.
This is my wife, Jennifer.
Oh, hello.
Everybody say hello to Jennifer.
Hello. Hi.
Some of you know her well. Got to know her better on the women's retreat. And some would say that I am the second best writer and speaker in my home. And that's fine. That's great. But this is Jennifer. She is the mother of 4 boys, 5 if you count me. Thank you, Harry. Gary Hart, way to go. Yes. And so she's the mother of 4 boys, 5 with me. She is in education. She is not just in education, but she also is a part owner of Creating Us Art Studio, where she does classes, and she has a line of things that she sells through Blue Ridge Bishop, and she is a speaker. I'm giving it all.
I know, that's a lot. Thank you.
Guys, this is called using your mic for points. Using your mic for points. So she's got a lot of things going on, and one of the most driven and busy people I know, and she is my love. So she is going to share today on Mother's Day. Welcome, Jennifer.
Thank you. That was kind. Hello, darlings. Happy Mother's Day. I am so honored to be here with you on, I would say, this is my favorite day of the year. And I know that this is a hard day for a lot of people. It's hard for me in many ways too. As most of you know, my mother passed away last year after just the worst decade ever. So I understand that Mother's Day comes with many challenging feelings, many differing feelings. It runs the gamut. But I do love Mother's Day, and I'll tell you why. Because I love being a mother. I guess, as Dusty said, I do have a lot of irons in the fire. I have always been that way. I love creativity. I'm driven by creativity. But the greatest thing, the greatest name that I have for myself is mother. And I will never get over the fact that God gave me 4 sons. I wake up every day and I'm like, I have 4 sons. And it is such a gift, and I will never get over that gift. Being a mother is the greatest joy of my life. I will also tell you that a lot of people, you know, when influencers say things like, so guys, a lot of people have been asking me where I get these awesome headbands, or a lot of people have been asking me about these hair extensions, or whatever. Nobody ever asks me about any of that. But something that people do ask me about is parenting. Jennifer, how do you parent these 4 boys? And I think Dusty and I do an okay job at it. I mean, that's a rough okay at it. I mean, Wyatt is our oldest. He's turning out pretty well. Keep it up, son. So I think it's going okay. And so I'm going to share with you today 3 tenets that Dusty and I follow in our parenting, or 3 tenets that I saw and make him do. He's going to be listening to this and he's going to be like, oh, this is a lot more formula driven than I thought it was. I want to take a moment to tell you that if you are grieving today, that you are seen and you are held. And I applaud your courage for showing up to church on Mother's Day if you were grieving for whatever reason. I applaud your courage, and I want you to know that God sees your presence here today as an act of worship and as an act of trust. I also want to speak to you if you are not yet a parent and are not planning on being a parent. That is just fine. But I want you to lean into this message too, because I think there's something here for all of us. So let's get to it. In life, there are times when it is our job to shape the culture and climate of an entity. So whether that is a workplace, a family, a marriage, and this includes how we parent our children. And this is a motto I heard a few years ago, and it's what Dusty and I try to do together. 3 words that can transform your parenting or wherever you are a leader. And it's these 3 words: calm, kind, and firm. And we're going to walk through those today. Calmness, kindness, and firmness. Is firmness a word? I like it. Wyatt's shaking his head no, but we're just going to pretend that it is. This is the language and the tone we use as we navigate difficult or teachable situations with our children. And this can be something like, no, you can't have another ice cream, to harder topics like screen time and boundaries or phone usage, or no, you can't go to that party. This can also be used when a child admits to a wrongdoing. In these situations, we as parents respond in a way that is calm, that is kind, and that is firm. And I want you to know that this isn't some new age weird parenting, like where we only whisper to our children and we never get angry. That is certainly not the case. Calm, kind, and firm is actually the biblical method of raising children and of leading. So we're going to dig right into it. We're going to discuss being calm. First of all, let me tell you that being calm is what our bodies were created for. Your body was not meant to sit in anger, and you can actually tell that from don't raise your hand on this one, but if you have high blood pressure, or Dusty, no, put your hand down. If you have high blood pressure, you know how awful this makes your body feel. When you are angry, your body responds in ways that it was not made to respond to or respond with. So, for example, you are allowed to be angry. You are absolutely allowed to be angry, but it's actually what you do with your anger. In Ephesians 4, it tells us to not let the sun go down on our anger. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to forgive a person the same day. What that does mean is it's a mandate for you, not the other person, so that your body can rest and you don't spend the night tossing and turning in all of your feels. But it is also more than that. Our bodies were meant for calm. This is how we best function. We're going to go to Proverbs 29:11, and it says this: a fool gives full vent to his spirit, but a wise man quietly holds it back. You know, we are allowed to feel our feelings. Anger is actually a gift. It's a signal of right and wrong, and we can use it to determine what is good and right and what is not. Anger is not the culprit here, but how we respond with the anger that matters. When our kids mess up in small ways and big ways, we are called to respond without giving full vent. I want you to take a second, and in your mind, I want you to imagine what your full vent looks like. What does your full vent sound like? And how does your full vent shape the climate of a situation? When thinking of how our responses are guided by sheer emotion, we need to examine if full vent truly is our best option. So we are going to go to Mark 3, 1 through 5. We're going to learn from the best. And this is Jesus. Again, he, Jesus, entered the synagogue, and a man was there with a withered hand. And they watched Jesus to see whether he would heal him on the Sabbath, so they might accuse him. But he said to the man with the withered hand, "Come here." And he said to them, "Is it lawful on the Sabbath to do good or to do harm, to save life or kill?" But they were silent, meaning the religious leaders. So here we are, we're in church. A man with a withered hand, our hands, if we did not have full working hands, we were most likely destitute because we could not work. I love it. Sing it, brother. It's my love language. So Jesus is asking these religious leaders, it's the Sabbath. We're not supposed to do work on the Sabbath. But hey, can I heal this man? Can I change his life? And what did they do? They looked at Jesus and they were completely silent. And this is what Jesus did. And he looked around at them with anger, grieved at their hardness of heart, and said to the man, "Stretch out your hand." He stretched it out, and his hand was restored. See, Jesus felt anger, but Jesus was not guided by his anger. Jesus felt anger, but he was not guided by it. And that is our mandate as a parent, as a boss, as a coworker, as a spouse. In the Old Testament, we see godly men like Jacob and Aaron holding their peace in the face of very dark situations. We see self-control, peace, patience, and gentleness listed as fruits of the Spirit. 1 Timothy 1:7 says, "For he has given us a spirit of power and of love and a sound mind to respond with words and actions appropriate to a situation." Holy calm in the midst of our storms makes us available to love others in the thick of crisis rather than being absorbed in our reaction. I'm going to read that again. I want you to really listen this time. Holy calm makes us available to love others in the thick of crisis rather than being absorbed in our reaction. Calm. For Christians like this in our day of outrage and outbursts, what a thing to be a non-anxious presence in your home. What a thing to be a non-anxious presence in your home. For us who lean on the stressless, complete calm of Christ, showing holy calmness through emotionally trying and even explosive moments in life and leadership, ready to be responsive without being reactive, engaged, and even helpful without being frantic, able to hold our peace when we need it, knowing the war has been won by Jesus. A calm reaction assures that your children can approach you with confidence. They know their actions and their words may anger you, but they also know that your response will not be guided by your anger. A calm natured response allows your home to function with less anxiety, more joy, and more cohesiveness. And now I tell you what really goes on. It's a joke. We got a brand new couch in January. Got a brand new couch. Dusty already knows this story. Don't worry, I'm not naming names. We got a brand new couch. And it had just rained. And our yard was full of beautiful Carolina red clay mud. Yeah, you know where this is going. As my darling boys were carrying the couch and all of its cushions into my house, what did one of them do? Dropped that cushion in that red mud, and I did something like a caterwauler, and then I yelled, I knew this would happen! I knew this would happen! As I was full venting, I was completely acting like a brat. Full venting. Said child does this. And he walks into the woods. He's like, it's like, this is not the place for me right now. And I looked at Dusty and I said, how bad was that? He said, it's pretty bad. Last week, the same child, who shall remain nameless, spilt old cereal that had been left in the car all down my pants leg and into my shoe, into my console. But this time I didn't scream. This time I went, it's okay, it's fine, it's fine. And he was going, I'm sorry, Mama, I'm sorry, Mama. And I was like, it's fine, it's fine. See, so growth, so if you're like, I cannot do this, calm is not my nature, yes, you can. We're all growing. We're not going to get it right every time, but we can make space for grace, and we can grow into someone who offers kindness to our children. Let's talk about kindness. So we're calm, and now we're kind. And I really want you to listen to when I talk about what it means to show kindness as a parent or as a leader, because this actually doesn't mean what you think it is, and we're going to talk about this. What does it actually mean to be kind? Is it the same thing as being nice? If I am to respond to my children in kindness, what does that look like? Well, let's go to the Greek found in Galatians 5:22 with the fruits of the Spirit. So if I am walking in tandem with Jesus, he has given me the gift of fruits of the Spirit. So if I'm living my life with Jesus, these are the words that play out in my life. When someone looks at me, they see love, joy, peace, forbearance, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, and then there's some more. How many of you had to memorize those in Sunday school as a child? We're going to talk about kindness. Kindness is listed here. This type of kindness is called Christos, and it is used 14 times in the Bible, and it means benignity. So kindness, doing no harm, tender concern, and uprightness. So this means doing no harm, tender concern, and uprightness. That is biblical kindness. And kindness, this Christos, is the kindness, the characteristic that led God to provide salvation for his people. Kindness leads leads God to give us green pastures and quiet waters and the restoration of our souls when we're weary. It is God's tender care that makes him want to gather us under his wings to protect us and keep us close to him. On multiple occasions, kindness induced Jesus to stop what he was doing and help others in need. And kindness leads the good shepherd to rescue us when we stray. When we exhibit the kindness of God, we are tender, benevolent, and useful to others. We are gentle, looking to the welfare of others, and we are teaching and supporting. That is biblical kindness. See, being nice and being kind are two different things, but not just on the surface level. Nice is surface level. Kindness comes from a different place. It is nice when I hold the door open for someone, but maybe I'm just doing that because I don't want to look like a jerk. Let's just be nice. I'll just be nice. But kindness is the catalyst for when I see someone struggling with bags at the grocery store and my heart sincerely wants to help them. As parents, we are called to kindness. And I hope that it's clear that it's not just being nice to our kids. I'm not always nice to my kids. Kindness is acting in your child's best interest with gentleness in ways that will prove useful to them. Kindness doesn't mean giving them their way. Kindness is showing them that there is a best way. I'm going to say that again. Kindness doesn't mean I'm just really nice to my kid and I'm just going to give them whatever they want. That is not being kind to your child. Kindness is showing them the best way. And I want you to think about it like this. How am I being intentional in this interaction with my child? If your child has made a wrong decision, my kindness to them is shown in the gentle way that I approach them and the teaching that I then offer them. I love you. You were wrong. This is why you were wrong, and this is where we go from here. Kindness in the Christos means it is a useful interaction with another, useful in a way that makes the other person better. The best kindness that you can give your child is to pour into them and make them into something better than they were yesterday. God offers this kindness to us every day in multiple ways. And the Hebrew word hesed, or loving kindness, is one of God's chief attributes. God's loving kindness is offered to his people who need redemption from sin, enemies, and troubles. God's nature is abounding in hesed, loving kindness. Indeed, hesed is one of the most important words in the Old Testament as humanity was learning who God was. If God guides us who need redemption and loving kindness, we must offer this very same to our children. Kindness is an intentional act for the betterment of the other person. Okay, Jen, this is great. But when do we get to the part where I get to lay down the law? This is it. This is it. Here's your moment. Now we're going to talk about being firm. We've reviewed responding to our children in calmness and with kindness, so we're even-keeled. We are teaching them, we are pouring into them, but now we are going to discuss what it means to be firm. And this is the hardest one. We're going to talk about why. We're going to go to Psalm 33:5, and it says, "The Lord loves righteousness and justice. The earth is full of his unfailing love." So this is David And he's listing the reasons we should be eternally thankful to God. One of these reasons is God's righteousness and his justice. We as humans, as citizens, as employees, as students, as spouses, we all experience consequences when we commit acts of wrongdoing. We cannot ever mince words or downplay that sins are sins are sins, and we are all held accountable for them. This goes from an eternal heavenly perspective on down to your marriage and your workplace. There are consequences for wrongdoing, and we would be remiss if we did not teach these to our children. God cannot be God without two things: his love and his justice. If God were to say he no longer cared about right and wrong, he would cease to exist, because righteousness is the very core of who he is. It's why Jesus had to come to earth. We must remember that in our calm and kind parenting, we must also be firm. This is a very minor example, but it happened to me this week. And it looks something like this. No, you cannot have another ice cream. You can have one tomorrow after school. If I ever bring fudgesicles back into my house, somebody say, don't do it. Don't do it. It's like all they want to eat. It was a fudgesicle incident. Luke loves a fudgesicle. And when we get the box, he thinks that that's all he's going to eat until the box is gone. I want another ice cream. No, you can't have another ice cream. It will give you a bellyache. And then what does he say? You know what he does. No, you cannot have another ice cream. It's not good for you to eat that much ice cream. What does he do? Does he say, okay? Okay, Mom, thanks. No. He takes his little chubby hands and he grabs hold of that freezer bar door and he will not let go. We are in we're in a stalemate. We're like this. It would be really easy as a parent for me in this moment just to go, fine, just have one. That's fine. But is that the best thing for him? No, he's going to get sick. But in this case, I pried his little hands off the freezer and removed him from the room, and all was well. That child said he hated me. I hate you, Mom. But then I get down to eye level. Don't you ever say those words to me again. And then he cried for a different reason. Then we went outside and we petted the cat. So this, of course, is a small scenario with a 3-year-old. But never once did I give up my power. We did not get another ice cream. I remained calm, and we went to see the cat, and he said, "Sorry, Mom." Being firm is the hardest tenet there is because it holds you as the parent to be just as accountable as the child. We must be willing to have hard conversations, to hold our ground, and to be uncomfortable for a little while. We have to be willing to stand up and say no and follow through. It would have been much easier for me to tell him, fine, just have another ice cream. I'm going to sit in my chair and read my book. But he wouldn't have learned anything, and that's not what would be best for him. We have to be willing to stand up and say no and follow through. The Lord is not fickle or malicious. He acts according to his perfect and changing nature, which means he approves of that which is correct. As the righteous judge, he never condones or excuses sin. He can forgive sin, but he does not excuse it. nor does he render a false verdict. He is not only righteous and just, but also replete in steadfast love. We, in turn, can never condone the sin of our child. We must call it out and teach them to do better. This means we must hold our boundaries firm. We must pay attention and not turn a blind eye, even when that is the easiest thing to do. If we do not correct our children now, the world will correct them later with terrible consequences like the loss of jobs or friendships or marriages. When we do follow through and teach our children to do better, the adage becomes true. Teach a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. Something happened with me and Wyatt in February, and I believe it is proof that calm, kind, and firm parenting works. If you know me, you know what my greatest fear is. It's not knowing where one of my children is. That is absolutely my greatest fear. So, don't worry, you look good in this story. So, it was 5:30. I was on my way to East Gaston to pick Wyatt up from one of his practices. And he was not there. He wasn't at the practice fields. No one was on the practice fields. I looked at all the practice fields. And, I'm starting to get just a little bit nervous. Like, where's my child? And I asked some of the other parents, I was like, have you seen Wyatt? And they were like, no. And I was like, well, my child, who is the size of a man, has surely been kidnapped from the high school parking lot. To make matters worse, I looked on Live 360 to where his phone was. His phone was pinging from the exact spot that I was standing. So I immediately start looking for crushed remnants of his phone that Wyatt has thrown in his desperate attempt to escape the kidnappers. I know I'm ridiculous, I know. Morgan was with me, and I was like, I can't find him. It's been 30 minutes at this point that I cannot find Wyatt. I'm starting to look through the doors of the high school. They were like, who is this woman? Finally, called Dusty, like it's time for the SWAT team to come in. Call Dusty. He's like, do I need to come over there? And I was like, no, it's fine. He's just kidnapped. After 30 full minutes, Wyatt walks up to the car, opens the door, gets in, and without a beat, this is what he says. Mom, please don't fuss at me. I'm sorry. I was in a meeting I didn't know about, and I had no cell service. I knew you were worried. I am downloading the team schedule now, so this will never happen again. I'm sorry. Okay, well, you totally stole my mom thunder there, because I was ready to fuss and yell. But then I remembered that I have a child who is calm, kind, and firm because Dusty and I have been parents who are calm, kind, and firm. What a privilege to guide the life of the child. We certainly will not do it perfectly. I know we don't do it perfectly in our house. But we can establish a structure in our home that is calm, that is kind, and that is firm. We can raise children who know that love and safety and high expectations can be found in their home with their parents. And hey, if you feel like that's not what you've been doing and it's too late, it's not too late. You can start today. I pray blessings over your homes today. I pray joy and rest for all you mamas. I pray that our hearts are shaped to be like Jesus. And I pray we guide our families as calm, kind, and firm leaders. Let's pray. Father God, most precious parent, thank you. Thank you for the way that you've taught us to be a parent, not guided by our anger, looking to teach and support our children, and to show up with boundaries and to follow through on what we say. You have done all of those things. Help us to understand in our hearts that it is best that we follow them. God, I ask your most wonderful blessings on this day for all the mamas out there. You see each and every one of us, and you see our individual stories, and oh, how you love us. Oh, how you love us. Say hey to my mama in heaven. And I say this in Jesus' name. Amen.